All right. I thought about it long and hard whether or not I was going to do this, and I'm going to do this because I'm sick and tired of mainstream media. I'm sick and tired of the flip-flopping, especially from Colin Cowherd. Klatt's doing it now. I've seen Stephen A. do it I don't know how many times. Skip Bayless. It's nauseating. We're talking about glorified fans now, essentially, and people that know how to, press those correct buttons. But it's gotten out of hand. And the best way that I could explain it is what's been going on with Shedeur Sanders. Joe Klatt told two different stories from when he was at the draft to a few days after the draft when he decided to get on Colin Cowherd's show. Here, let's play a little bit from that clip, the one from Colin Cowherd.
Personality and everything. So let's talk about the temperament of the backup quarterback and how much that could have hurt Shedeur.
I think it's the thing that hurt him, Colin. It was the biggest issue. And I don't buy at all, not for 1 second, that there was some sort of overarching collusion.
Yeah, see, Buddy was singing a way different tune. Way different tune during the NFL draft. Matter of fact, this is what he was saying during the NFL draft.
Two ways. You can take that as a negative. You can take it as a positive. Shedeur represents everything that I dislike about the NFL draft. And it's only one thing. And it's narratives. And it's narratives built up that are lazy and, quite frankly, trash. When you come out as an anonymous source about some meeting that you had and you don't think that some kid measured up to what you wanted him to be when he walked in your room, I think that that's trash. Shedeur Sanders is going to be a good quarterback in the National Football League. And I think that he's going to go and make some head coach and some fan base very happy because he's already done that in his career and what I think is a very difficult spotlight for his dad.
So what he did was call the narratives lazy, say that they weren't warranted, talked about how the NFL is blowing every opportunity with Shedeur Sanders as a potentially game-changing quarterback. He went from that to him and Colin calling it a circus act. Nobody likes his personality. Hell, Colin Cowherd said that he didn't like Shedeur because he wore his hat backwards. Does he not know what year this is? I've interviewed I don't know how many fighters. They've had their hats backwards, forwards. Half the time they just show up in a tank top and a pair of shorts, flip-flops. Like, it's such an informal thing to a lot of athletes, man. We're trying to mold people into what we want them to be. That's just not the way to do it. If you're going to take that approach, man, your efforts are futile, and they should be. Why does anybody have to adhere appearance-wise to what you want them to be? You're no judge greater than anybody else. Who do you really think you are, man? Some of these fools are playing God on the radio, and I'm telling you what, you need to stop. You got Klatt over here talking about how Shedeur will make any organization better. The fan base is going to fall in love with him, which means he's going to make that organization a lot of money because the ticket sales are going to be there, the jersey sales are going to be there, the sponsorships are going to be there, all that money that Shedeur could bring in. He said the Buffalo Bills didn't know what they were doing, and then all of a sudden, they viewed him as a backup, and part of it is because of the act that's going to follow him being the backup quarterback. He talked about Tim Tebow and Kaepernick, and it's just like, bro, really? You're telling me that you really believe that Jalen Milroe is a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders? Had it not been for Ryan Williams, a 17-year-old, nobody would be talking about Jalen Milroe. Granted, he did have that touchdown pass, 2 seasons ago against Auburn at the end of the year? You start running around, give me my Heisman. Bro, you hadn't done nothing before that. Barely won that game. Let's not forget about what happened at OU this season. The losses that you guys had to really bad football teams. Like, I don't know, Vanderbilt. Stop it. Stop the cap. Okay? I really am tired of this. It's wishy-washy. There's no real anything. And journalism is supposed to be honest and truth-telling. But it's not anymore. What it is now is hyper-fixated opinions that come and go, and they're fleeting, and it all fits the narrative that I needed to in the moment. I mean, I've literally heard Stephen A. tell Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys to tank the season. He literally advocated, when you're doing that, for cheating, which he chastised the Miami Dolphins for doing. Wasn't everybody up in arms at ESPN over Tom Brady and the Deflategate thing that happened? Man, there was wall-to-wall coverage on that. Wall-to-wall coverage on that. You couldn't get away from it. And now you're telling me that because you say that, it's suddenly okay? Now it's okay to cheat because, I said it. It's an ego thing, man. That's all it is. I'm right no matter what I say. When you study mass communications or take any type of journalism classes, the first thing that they usually teach you is if something makes you feel an extreme way, one way or the other, whether you agree or disagree with it, then it's probably fake news. Klatt said that there shouldn't have been a narrative out there about Shedeur. Then he fed into the narrative about Shedeur, the same one that he called lazy. How do you excuse that? Well, I've talked about this before on my podcast. What? Word? When? Because we heard you on your podcast bashing NFL executives. But here we go. A couple of days later, the draft is over, and you were singing a completely different tune. It's not about being a journalist anymore. It's literally just about making money. And they have the understanding that when they put this stuff out there, it's going to make them cheddar. And that's all that it really amounts to, because it's not about being right or wrong anymore. It's all about the money. And everybody sells out eventually. And you wonder why people have a hard time with trusting the media when they see things like that going on. You wonder why they have a hard time with your opinion when they see things like this going on. You can't stay stable. If you would have said to yourself, you know what, I've talked to some other sources and I've reshaped my opinion predicated upon new information that I have, that would have been one thing. But you didn't lead with that, so that tells me that never happened. Instead, you went off of Colin, and Colin saying, the anonymous guy that I talked to, when you bashed anonymity beforehand and said that everybody who's ever doing this needs to come out so that way we can see you. So what changed your mind? I would really love to know the answer to that question. All right, everybody, I am Drew Duncan. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan Radio. Take advice to play the Drew Duncan Sports Show. I am wherever you are listening to podcasts. Everybody stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful rest of your night and or day.